Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start chapter 2 of class 9 mathematics, that is polynomials. So let's start with the learning objectives of the polynomial. The first objective is to recognize variables and their degree in a given algebraic expression in order to differentiate whether the given expression in a polynomial is one variable or not. Second, to identify the degree of a given polynomial in order to classify an expression as zero, linear, quadratic, and cubic polynomials. Third, substitute the value of a in a given expression p bracket x, that means polynomial in variable x, in order to find the value of a polynomial at a, that is p bracket a. Fourth, use given values for the variable x in a polynomial p bracket x in order to identify if the given value is a zero of the polynomial. Sixth, using remainder theorem, calculate division of p bracket x by a linear polynomial x minus a in order to find the remainder, that is p bracket a, and verify using long division method. Next, to apply factor theorem in order to determine if a linear polynomial x minus a is a factor of given polynomial p bracket x. After that, you have to apply factor theorem in order to determine the value of an unknown constant k in polynomial p bracket x when a linear polynomial x minus a is known as a factor of p bracket x. After that, you have to apply factor theorem in order to factorize a given polynomial. Next is to factorize a given polynomial using splitting middle term methods and factor theorem in order to compare the result of the two. Next, point out to algebraic identity that can be used in order to factorize a given expression. And the last we are going to study about is you have to select appropriate algebraic identities in order to evaluate the values of a given expression. So these are the topics that we are going to study in this chapter. Basically, you are going to study about the remainder theorem, factor theorem, and algebraic identities. So let's see some of the key points. The first one is a polynomial p bracket x in variable x is an algebraic expression in x of the form px equal to a0 x raised to the power 0 plus a n minus 1 x raised to the power n minus 1 plus a n minus 2 x raised to the power n minus 2 till a is a0, where a0, a1, a2 are the constants, but make sure that an should not be equal to 0. Next is a0, a1, a2 are respectively the coefficients of x raised to the power 0, x raised to the power 1 and x raised to the power 2. For example, class, you are having a polynomial 2x raised to the power 4 plus 3x raised to the power 3 plus 4x raised to the power 2. So that means x square का आपका coefficient क्या है 4. That means the number which is involved with the variable is called as the coefficient of the number. Another example is if you have been asked about the coefficient of x cube. अगर आपका polynomial था 2x cube and therefore the coefficient of x cube will be 2. Third point, each of the term a n x raised to the power n, a n minus 1 x raised to the power minus 1 are called terms of the polynomial. As you have already studied class that terms are separated by plus and minus sign. That means if you have taken the example as 2x cube plus 3x square. So that means there are two terms in the polynomial. First is 2x cube and second is 3x square. Basically class, the terms are separated by plus and minus sign. Last is n is the degree of the polynomial where n is a non-negative integer. n क्या है आपकी क्लास? डिग्री है polynomial की. Degree is nothing but the highest power of the variable. This is the second point only. The degree of the polynomial is called as the highest power of x in the algebraic expression is called as degree. For example, 5x raised to the power 5 plus 3x raised to the power 2 plus 8. तो यहाँ पे x की हाईएस्ट पावर क्या है 5 and therefore the 5 is called as the degree of the polynomial. Next is classification of polynomials. You can divide the polynomials on the basis of degree also and on the basis of number of terms also. If we talk about degree, so that means the polynomial can be categorized as linear. Linear polynomial is a polynomial of degree 1. For example, you can say that x plus 1, 2x. Here you can see class जो x की power है कुछ भी mention नहीं है. And if nothing is mentioned, it is considered as 1. And therefore the polynomial is called as linear polynomial, whose general form is ax plus b. Similarly, the second case is quadratic. Basically, the polynomial of degree 2 is called as quadratic polynomial. Polynomial of degree 3 is called as cubic polynomial. And polynomial of degree 4 is called as quadratic polynomial. So these are the classification of polynomial on the basis of degree. And degree is highest power of the variable. But make sure that यहाँ पे general form given है ax plus b for the linear, ax square plus bx plus c for the quadratic, and so on for the cubic as well as y quadratic. But you have to ensure that a, b, c, d, and e are real constant, but a should not be equal to 0. Because for the first case class, in the linear polynomial, if you are having a polynomial as x plus 1 or ax plus b, if a becomes 0, so that means आपका ax भी आपका 0 हो जाएगा. That means you will left with only b. And only b is nothing but a constant term because it does not have any variable. So that means if a becomes 0, your polynomial will not be linear further. It will change from linear to constant, or it may change from quadratic to linear, because highest power becomes 0 because any number multiplied by 0 is 0 only. अगर आपका ax square plus bx plus c है and you are substituting a as 0, so 0 into x square will become 0 only. So therefore you will left with bx plus c, and therefore आपका quadratic polynomial convert हो जाएगा linear polynomial में. Similarly, the next classification is class on the basis of number of terms. On the basis of number of terms, the polynomial is classified as monomial, binomial, and trinomial. That means if the polynomial is having one term, it is considered as monomial. If there are two terms in the polynomial, it will consider as binomial. And if there are three terms, that means you can say, for example, 5 x square plus 3x plus 5. So there are three terms in the polynomial, and therefore it is classified as trinomial.